Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we are diving together into Open Great League with a line that was inspired and I first saw it on Chili's FM's channel. So this trainer is another Pokemon Go content creator for you to check out if you want to, so huge shout out to them because this team worked immediately for me on my Elo range, as you can see. We're gonna go down now to the very bad lead of Galarian Stunfisk. Unfortunately we cannot switch out since at the back we have the double flying. Even though one flyer is gonna be a counter to Fisk, the other one is gonna struggle a lot, and that is gonna be Altaria. So with that in mind, we're gonna sacrifice here the red steel. At least we can focus on that shield advantage, and now we can finish them off with the nuke and the big earthquake on the Fisk. Down they go, Pelipper comes into the battle, and they have a Sableye as well at the back. My Altaria is gonna perform pretty nicely against those two, especially with them being kinda glacier than our Pokemon, and the Dragon Breath doing a lot of work up against the Sableye and the Pelipper. Gonna block the first one because as it seems they are gonna charge up to a return, but right now they're gonna go for back-to-back foul plays, and I know that the second one is gonna be the foul play because I am counting only 6 of those Shadow Claws to reach to one foul play, and with that in mind we're gonna keep that shield for the end game. I'm gonna get now to my Gliscor for the end of the battle, and they're gonna throw here the move. Perhaps they could go for the farm down, but also perhaps they were afraid of my next Night Slash. Doesn't matter. Anyways, we can reach now to the Moonblast and finish off that Pelipper to grab that first win for the first battle of this video. Into the next one now with the Trevenant upon the lead. Horrible lead scenario once again, but this time we have better solutions at the back. We got a double flyer, and two of those flyers that can absolutely kind of hold down this Trevenant threat. So we're gonna go for that Night Slash, gonna grab the shield, and now they switch out to the Lantern. What are you doing, trainer? The Surf will not take us out, but still we cannot risk it yet, so I'm just gonna go here for that bait. I know they want to have that Trevenant over my Registeel, so I'm just gonna take advantage of that. Now they're gonna go for the Surf, and I will bank that energy for the end game. You never know what to expect, and because they are still switch locked in there, I'm just gonna bring my Lantern and see how it goes. Now they respawn with a Diggersby on the swap, and sad news when I saw the Diggersby is that I immediately thought that they might have Hyper Beam, so we might need to do something around it. Of course Moonblast here is gonna do tremendous amount of damage, but still not enough to the Excel thick bunny Pokemon. They get here to those fire punches, which is pretty cool for me, meaning that they do not have at all the Hyper Beam. Down they go after they throw the Earthquake. That was weird, and now we can throw the Sky Attack before we go down with the Altaria. This Lantern is having some energy to spare, so I'm just gonna go immediately for the Night Slash, and I have one more for that Trevenant, or at least I thought so, because they're gonna finish us off even though we got the boost. At this point they are almost at the range of the Zap Cannon, so only one way to learn here. Are they gonna feint? And yes they are. Down they go to the resisted nuke, and that's gonna be an amazing victory for us. Azumarill the next one, and Red still kinda has here the upper hand, especially if they do not have Hydro Pump, and most Azumarills do not, because they rely a lot on the Playera for the fighters and Ice Beam for the flyers. So at this point we're having on the mid battle the Sableye against the Altaria. We already saw how this can end. It always is on the wings or hands, if you want to say, of Altaria, and depending on the shield scenario we can easily manipulate this in between matchup, and that's why I like Altaria at the back on my team. Moonblast here for big damage on the Azu, but of course they can easily go for the farm down if they want to. So now we're having another Moonblast already at the red for the Azumarill, but they can still impressively farm down here for the big farm, and even though they're super low they have 100 energy for sure. Now at the back we're met up with a Trevenant that was way too early to be anything else than a Seed Bomb, so now we're just gonna go for the Night Slashes, and of course I have a feeling that if we can block here we can get that shield out of the way. However, the battle is not over yet. They still have the Azu, they still have one shield which they're gonna use right now. I want to go for that extra mile and the Night Slash, however I cannot, and now the Trevenant Trevenant is gonna throw their move. If they have here the Hydro Pump, everything is over. Will they do it? No, they do not. They do not have Hydro Pump at all. It is gonna be just a play rough, and we can safely reach now to the Zap Cannon before they go for back-to-back moves. Able to farm down with the Locons as well, and that is gonna be a close victory for our line, with Red Steel stealing all that spotlight. That was crazy. Locon for the win. Into the next one now with the Sableye on the lead. We're just gonna get now to those up cannons because we know that they are gonna be shielding for sure, and of course we get a chance at debuffing this Pokemon. At the back they have the Azumarill once again, and I have said it before and I'm gonna say it now. Azumarill is getting prettier by the day and more popular. People like to use Azumarill, and it's not that bad meta like it used to be. That wall face like the Bastiodon or the Red Steel, it is pretty healthy right now and provides a lot of general answers on the meta, especially with the absence of the grass types due to those flyers being everywhere. So right here we're gonna go with the Night Slashes because this is all we can throw against the Noctowl, and of course I'm gonna go for that extra mile because I want to pressure for the potential CP, but they know better. So anyways, gonna be able to bring now into play my Registeel, and I have a good feeling about this, meaning that they are gonna switch out and they're gonna spend their energy, which is pretty neat, and now my Altaria will have to be my ultimate closer as was the initial plan. So let's see how this is gonna unfold because they're gonna go here for the foul play, gonna call the bait, not the return at all. Now the Sky Attack for the feint down on the Sableye, and they decide to block. This is pretty crucial right now because foul play is imminent, we got to block, but can we farm down? Yes we can, and now let's get to the Moonblast because I know that this Sky Attack will not be enough. However, they survive, but still not enough. We're just still gonna take this amazing victory for our Altaria. Into the next one now with the Galarian Stunfisk up on the lead. We saw before that this is a tricky lead for our team, we have to stay in, but this trainer decided to go ahead and switch out. I do not switch out right on time, I want to farm a little bit extra here, and I'm gonna bring my Altaria. I know that a simple Ice Punch can be taken with ease from my bulky dragon here, and now we can reach to the Sky Attack for that shield pressuring. I'm not gonna go ahead and let it go through because I think that I can go ahead and farm even more, but as it seems this is not gonna happen. We cannot farm down completely, they are gonna block, and I'm just gonna spend my last shield here against that Medi in order to feint down that Medicham with ease. Now let's see how they want to respond because I know that they have that Stunfisk of their own, so it all depends on the final Pokemon. Now we have definitely flipped around that very bad lead. But still we are not over yet. Let's get now to the Night Slash and the Stunfisk. Just keep in mind that it has a lot of energy to throw here, so we're just gonna get hit by a Shadow Ball, I believe. Almost down we go. We're gonna follow the fate right after with those Shadow Claws and simultaneously knock out here, but it doesn't matter, it makes no sense at all because they're already there on the Earthquake with the Stunfisk, and we're gonna go down. Alolan Shadow Ninetales is gonna be our next lead, finally a good lead for this team. Gonna catch a break with our Registeel, and they're switching out to the Swampert. What I want to do here is to stay in a little bit more, trying to charge up as close as to a Zap Cannon as I can. They're gonna throw, which is fine, we can take the Hydro Can but not the Earthquake, and now gonna go in with my Altaria. Altaria is a complete wall to those starters, but perhaps not that Charizard because of Dragon Claw, but still absolutely playable. I know that they have the Ninetales, so what I have to do here is to go ahead and pressure with my Moonblast. Big damage on the Shadow Ninetales, but still we're gonna go down on the following turn. Now we're having the Zap Cannon, and they are gonna block, which is impressive, and still I believe that whatever they throw here we can take it. It is gonna be the Dazzling. At the back they have the Stunfisk, and now it's all up to the Gliscor. Can we finish them off with the Simple Nuke and the Earthquake before they do anything tricky? So we're just gonna reach here to the move, trying to potentially nuke them down before they think that they can shield. However, they can survive with 1 HP. Are you kidding me? Down they go right after. Ninetales returns, so much damage from those powder snows, but Gliscor is still holding on, and that's gonna be a sweet victory for our Scorpio Pokemon. Metal Trash Can against an Anglerfish. I said that, and now we're having the Surf from that Lantern before we reach to the Zap Cannon. Smart choice to go for the move before the Zap Cannon, just in case they're getting debuffed. However, we're never getting those debuffs with the Zap Cannon, and that's gonna be a bummer. Even though they have Water Gun, and that's gonna be a pretty good one for the Lantern, it doesn't matter at all. We can still pressure for that tilt advantage, and as you can see, most of the times this is all that matters. I lost a couple of times that I didn't showcase against an Alolan Ninetales at the back. I get trainers, you might be struggling with that, but as you saw before, it is still playable, especially if you can pressure with the Sky Attacks or the Moonblast, or just go with the Earthquake against that Pokemon with your Scorpio Pokemon, hence the Gliscor. So it's all good about that threat at the closing part as well. It's all up to the shields no matter what. Now they're returning with that Lantern. Perhaps this is gonna be their main anti-flyer choice, and they're gonna get to the Surf. At the back, they have once again the Shadow Alolan Ninetales. Speaking of that Pokemon, here it comes, and now we have to block no matter what, rely on our Scorpio in order to do severe amount of work with that Earthquake. However, the battle is not over yet, they still have the Lantern. Can we outspeed here? Yes we can. Scorpio for the win, and that is gonna sum things up for today's video. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!